Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. You don't know, my name's Chad. Take a dive with sports. And welcome to the NBA Finals recap video. That's right, the NBA Finals are finally done between the Warriors and the Celtics. And in case you don't know, the Warriors ended up winning their fourth title in 8 years, surpassing the Bulls in overall franchise titles as they earned their seventh. And Steph Curry finally got that coveted NBA Finals MVP for his performance of the series. So this is kind of a dive into a little bit of, history a little bit and kind of go over the review of the series. But before I dive in all that action, you go ahead and smash that thumbs up for me, especially like the content I provide you. It really pleases you two gods. You can also subscribe. A lot of you guys review my work, and that means you subscribe. It's cost you a dime. It helps me before I provide more entertainment value for you. Now, looking at the Warriors over the past decade, they have built a great franchise base, especially around Steph Curry, and built around him pieces he needed. Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and those Andre Iguodala to really help him, and then even brought Kevin Durant for a time frame. But in the last 8 years, going to 6 finals is a feat that you don't normally see unless you're LeBron James. Because he decided, he's going to go to the finals with 2 different teams multiple times. Making the finals in 8 straight years. Nothing you couldn't saw with any particular player unless you were the Celtics back in the day, where they were just making, 10-year runs in the finals. Back to and then with LeBron, he had going with 2 different teams, only won 3 titles in that time frame. But all 3 times he won Finals MVP. Steph, on the other hand, was not. He's not that type of player. He's not one of these guys that has to have the ball at the last second to be the star. He is willing to pass the rock around to ensure other players contribute to the team effort. He's all about the team play, much like Tim Duncan and the Spurs were during their little mini run of titles. So, this is type of basketball I really like, where it's not, you don't focus on the individual, you focus on the team. I mean, it was even evident during his press conference when they finally asked him about the MVP, and he's like, he didn't want to talk about that. He wanted to talk about the team win, and that's just the type of player that he is. Now, going over their magical run, like I said, 6 finals appearances in 8 years. The 2 years they didn't make it was when Klay Thompson was out during his injuries, and I'm sure Klay had a lot of doubters when he came back this year. Could he be the same Splash Brother as he was prior? In essence, no. Because one, it's just time frame. Playing for that long, your body tends to wear out a little bit anyways, and injuries adds a few more extra years to your body. And of course, the type of job that you have. Those in the military know that all too well. The great tolls the military service puts on your body. Anyways, so looking at that, they could have won multiple titles. They could have won all 8 of them, or excuse me, all 6 of their appearances, if it wasn't for a collapse against the Cleveland in the 16-17 season, or excuse me, 15-16, when they came back from 3-1 and beat the Warriors. Or when the Raptors won it, 2019, injuries kind of plagued Golden State then at the wrong time. Kawhi Leonard took advantage of that one, and Kawhi Leonard has been the same since. But, this is just a great all-around effort by the Warriors themselves. Steph Curry finally got that Finals MVP. It's something that he's been lacking in his hardware. In looking at, the final game, Curry ended up putting up 34 points, which seems to be his average throughout this series. You didn't really get Game 6 Clay, like as we've gotten in the past, but he still ended up putting 12 points up there. He's at 2 for 8 from the three-point arc, 5 for 20 on the floor. I mean, he was definitely not a factor in this one. But the thing is, when you got Curry doing his thing, and then you got Poole coming off the bench scoring 15, and Wiggins doing 18, Draymond Green having 12, it really, really helps facilitate a lot of these. Looking over the whole series, Steph averaging 27 points, Clay at 19, Poole at 17, Wiggins 16.5. Those right there are your big four with Draymond playing. He's back there, but his main thing is not, scoring points. He's more of a defensive thing. And he ended up getting 7.5 rebounds average a game, right there with Looney. Looney was the same point, and even Andrew Wiggins. Excuse me, Draymond Green has 7.2. Andrew Wiggins had 7.5. Sorry, looks like my glasses don't work. But those type of things. I think another thing that really kind of hampered the Celtics in this wasn't necessarily the cohesiveness of the Warriors and how they're able to facilitate the pace of the game, and how it all tends to work in one particular way or fashion for the Warriors. As the Warriors always found themselves to be a great third quarter team that come out and be able to play. Last night wasn't really the case. They were more a second quarter team, and they held off their own in the third quarter as they trailed the third quarter 27-22. But the thing that I think really hampered the Celtics was Jason Tatum's absence. He had the worst field goal percentage ever in the NBA Finals. All the other ones who had the worst percentage and actually ended up winning the series. He also had like 100 turnovers through the entire playoffs, which is a new record. So something was a little off in Tatum's mindset, I think. Then again, he's a great, talented young man, and I'm sure he'll bounce back. Because the Celtics do have a very good team in Boston. I'm sure they'll make another deep run again next year. But they might want to find maybe another piece to kind of help balance out the load up there in Boston. I don't know. That's a topic for another time frame. Not more about what what happened for in the finals. In terms of game clinchers, it was just funny to see how that on the road the Warriors were 0-3 in clinching the game, and the Celtics have been 3-0 when facing elimination. So everything was kind of pointing towards the Warriors in this one. The Warriors already put something else on top of that, having the Celtics losing back-to-back playoff games was something they haven't done the entire playoffs. So the fact of them winning on the road, I think not a lot of people put faith on the Warriors and close out Boston in the Garden. I've always said this series is going to go 6 anyways, so I was rooting for Steph Curry. Like I said, I just like the guy. The way the whole team's kind of run. You got Steve Kerr now. It's kind of like the fifth player or fifth individual to win 9 or more NBA titles as a player/coach. So, you got things time with Chicago, San Antonio, and his coaching career with Golden State. I mean, he has a few rings to his collection. But, hats off to Golden State. I mean, this is with the trials and tribulations they have throughout the season, injuries and other question marks throughout the seasons. Do they trade away some of the players to get someone else in? Like I said, could Clay come back and be anywhere near to his level he was prior? and they still end up winning it all at the end. Just let you know the tenacity of this team, the grit of this team, the core leadership's been here before. They know the routine. They can help guide the younger guys and the guys never been here and kind of, help guide them in the direction that they need to go. And I think the sky's the limit for the Warriors. I mean, I think they could find themselves here again, maybe next year, maybe 2 years from now. But I know some people want to throw out the terminology dynasty for the Warriors. And the fact that in 8 seasons, they've been to the final 6 times, winning 4 of them. I can kind of see that. However, I think this is not a dynasty. Dynasty was the time frame when they went to 5, winning 3. That was a dynasty. Because that the team that had one of the best teams of all time that went 7-3-9, but they failed to win the title. So the Bulls still have the best team ever. Sorry, Golden State, but even though you won 73 games, you still get the ring. 72 in the ring, it's a lot better. But I don't consider this as a continuation of that. They had the 2-year absence. Struggling to get into the playoffs, missed the playoffs. I think both of years, but struggling to get in the playoffs anyways. And without Klay, so let you know how important Klay Thompson is. So I am in an inclination not to call this a dynasty. And this is just like you picked up a couple years later and started up again. So this is nothing like what the Patriots are in terms of modern day dynasties. Then they think their run's over. Tampa Bay has kind of got one right now in the NHL. I mean, they're back-to-back champions. You don't really see that often too much anymore. And with the NHL, it's hard to really kind of create a dynasty. I mean, the Blackhawks kind of had one, winning 2 Stanley Cups in 3 years, but then they were flanked with the Kings at the time frame. So it was the Blackhawks Kings dynasty. I think you put those two together because those are 2 clubs that just won all the cups for 4 years. Baseball, you don't really see that. I mean, you have great teams like the Dodgers, but they always seem to fall flat. Same in the NFL, you always see the Steelers, and they never seem to win any titles, but they've always had great teams. So there's just, in the modern day aspects, dynasties has to be labeled differently. And for me, the Golden State Warriors now is not the same Golden State Warriors 3 years ago. These are 2 completely different franchises. Even though the core players are still the same, but some of the other intricate pieces are different. But I can see this version of the Warriors maybe winning one more within the next 3 years. And after that, I think the Warriors will come back down to earth. It's just, seems to be the cycle anyways for franchises. But anyways, congratulations Golden State for winning your 7th title and winning your 4th title in 8 years. Congratulations for Steph Curry for winning Finals MVP, even though I didn't call for that. That's at pool. And only time will tell, see who's going to be back on top of the mountain next year. You definitely got to think the Warriors are going to be one of the favorites, along with the Celtics, the Bucks, the Suns. And of course, people are going to pick the Lakers because of LeBron. You got to throw in Miami in there as well. So it's a crowded top. So you kind of see who's going to, win out next year. Only time will tell. And tell you what you think. Who do you think is going to win next year? I mean, it's way too early to kind of determine. You still got the off season, still got roster moves because you have salary issues and players going different teams and trying to create new super teams. Still got the draft coming up. And just let me know about my overall coverage of the NBA. I understand I haven't done a lot with the NBA this season. It's just during that time frame, the NBA, NHL, and I mean, you got all those sports were really culminating at the exact same time frame. Busy time frame, trying to pinpoint one thing here or another. I don't really follow basketball as well as I used to, but I do like watching it towards the end, when especially you got the playoffs. I think that's when the best games start getting played, and you can see some of the true talent rise to the top that time frame. Now, just let me know what you think. While you're there, you can hit that thumbs up once again. You can also share this video with your friends and family, or it helps promote this channel out. Once you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification to let you know next time I post a video. And I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.